Welcome back, second stringers. We are here. I am Johnny Barks.
And I am Bryan Burgers. Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome in. We are just fantasizing about a lot of things this week. Big week in the NFL for all of us, football fans, Americano football fans, as the Spaniards might say.
Football Americano. And
a lot of things happening.
Yeah,
some kind of expected ugly offenses to start the season. It kind of happens every week one, but yeah, just like an overdose of football to start the week. And how'd you feel about all these all these happenings? Some kind of sub QB play.
Yeah,
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, all kind of looking meh. Some to some degree, others various degrees.
Yeah. And before I give you my thoughts, I just want to say feel free to submit your questions and comments into the chat. We'll be happy to respond. But as always, and I'm sure all of you who are in here already know that. But yeah, very weird week. First of all, in general, coming off of the Ken Bone interview last week.
Yeah, give it up for Ken Bone. He was
thank
excellent.
You, Ken.
Yeah.
I don't think he's watching it, but in spirit, he was awesome, and he talked about wiffle ball, and
I didn't see if he subscribed or not, but he might have.
He might have. You got a few subscribers after that show, so
yeah, it was a great interview. Very fun guy, very cool guy. So.
Yeah. So last week we had a pretty interesting fantasy matchup, Johnny.
We did.
And what happened, Bryan? LOL. What was
Bears
that a reference?
That's what happened.
Oh, geez. We're going to talk about that. That's on the docket. But
thanks for showing up. Generic Bolt, man. Appreciate
it. Yeah, thanks for being here. What we have on the screen here is Johnny and mine matchup for fantasy in our 10-person league, our league of record, as some might say. And I want you to peep at the score there. The final score was 136.84 to 136.26.
So 6.6 points. Technically 0.59 points.
Yeah.
But some not fun.
Yeah,
math.
I barely won last week. My name is My Kittle Tony, like My Little Pony, and Johnny's is the White Broncos.
I changed it to that for a screen grab I made for a joke in Perna's video, and I just never changed. I changed the photo and everything because that was that's supposed to be OJ Simpson's fantasy football team's name. That was
right.
Obviously, so.
I like that joke. Yeah, solid joke.
I haven't thought. I've been thinking of some good, trying to think of a good fantasy name, but I never had yet this season. Trying to combine those names. I got a high standard though, so I like.
And some of that comes from your waiver pickups. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about waiver pickups and how they affect your fantasy name based in our last segment, as we always do, fantasy names we like. I just burped. So if you take a look at our score, 136.84 to 136.26, I circled the Garrett Wilson stat line, which for all intents
Monday night game.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, the Aaron Rodgers injury won me our fantasy matchup. I was telling Johnny all the way through up until that game, I was like, I'm done for. I'm going to lose. I don't even care. The Packers beat the Bears, and I'm about to lose to you in fantasy football. This is the worst weekend of my life.
And then
Aaron Rodgers goes down, and it was like my whole world changed.
See, it's just sad because obviously, just talking about the fantasy perspective, beyond football, obviously, I'm freaking devastated for Rodgers. It really sucks. He seemed really excited to, be in a new place and a new contending team. But just in the fantasy realm, I'm really sad because freaking Garrett Wilson dropped to 17. And I was super thrilled about that. I was like, oh my God, that's a great – because he was going in the first round in some weeks and 12 to 15 range usually. So that was a decent value. And then so it kind of plummets his value by at least a whole round, swapping Wilson back in there. Right. Even what we saw last year, he was putting up crazy numbers with Mike White, just like a half-competent quarterback.
Right.
That's not named Zach Wilson could make him a legit receiver one, but
And we saw that.
That's just part of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw that crazy play he had with Zach Wilson just sort of throwing it at the back of the defender, and Zach Wilson like kind of catches.
Yeah, threw it to the wrong. Like that should have been an interception, but what Garrett Wilson like wrapped his arm around. I should have downloaded the clip.
Yeah,
but if I would have won, I definitely would have. That was the winning kick. It would have been amazing.
But I think in general for the career of Garrett Wilson, I feel like it's one thing after another. He's doing everything he can with what he has, and he's doing crazy things, but he's so limited at quarterback play that it's stunting his career, and it frustrates me, but it makes me happy fantasy wise because
it's like early Larry Fitzgerald when who were those freaking Cardinal quarterbacks back in the day throwing the ball.
Matt Leinart
numbers.
Matt Leinart was one of his coaches.
They thought Leinart and Fitzgerald was going to be that combination.
Yeah.
Because that was right after Fitzgerald's rookie year. Had a great rookie year.
Yeah,
those were the days.
Well, so that's our little score. Packers and Bears. What a tragedy that was. And I hate that. I love that you're all here, but I hate that I know that a lot of you are Packers fans. In the back of my head, I'm just like, just ignore it.
Hey, you got Marcus in here.
Marcus is a tried and true Rams now semi.
I just want to say how therapeutic. Bryan, I'm not going to be mean to you because this offseason you were obviously thrilled, as you should have been about DJ Moore, but you still came in with very realistic expectations. I know you thought they could be a legit contending team in the NFC, which if we're just judging off 1 week doesn't seem to be the case.
Nope.
They have a lot of holes in that roster still, and all you did was get new linebackers that might be a little bit better, but spending way too much money on them, and then DJ Moore not utilizing him at all, and that O-line's still very shaky. At this point, you should have just stayed at one and picked Will Anderson. Honestly, I know it's long term, not short term, obviously, and so you don't want to get frustrated. But man, that Bears team. I don't know if you saw. I meant to send you the video. I think it's JT Sullivan, the QB school guy. He makes a lot of film breakdowns here on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Was just watching the Bears tape and was like, dude, I don't know what the hell this is. You got receivers side by side running the same route. So they're just running into coverage with this one person is covering two people. And it's the weirdest combination of offense to do was obviously I'm not an expert at this, but I could tell looking at what he was showing, that's not right.
Right.
That's not how NFL offense is supposed to operate. It's like a high school offense, it seems like. I'm not even trying to be mean, but
I am an expert.
It's the run game doesn't work. I don't know what and they're not even running with Fields. They're not even running. Did they read more than a couple read option plays that whole game? Utilize his strength. He's just throwing it. He had 2 throws over 20 air yards, I believe, and I don't think either of those were completed.
Right.
So man, you have to be more creative with that offense.
Right, and that's offensive line and play call scheme. I think and Chase Claypool, which we'll talk about in a second. All of that put together, and then still a mediocre defense, did not look good. All of that put together, not good.
That's crazy. That's it's like taking the ball out of his hands. I know you're technically keeping it. You're taking the ball out of his feet. That makes sense.
Well, he's a freak of nature, and they're not letting him do the things that make him a freak of nature. Is basically what the reality of it is. So,
I sent a message to the group chat. Nick here is a Steelers fan. I said, I hope Joey Porter Jr. is a Hall of Famer, just because that'd be so hilarious.
Well, let's see. So what else? I don't want to talk about the Bears and Packers anymore.
I know you're over it, but I just wanted to gloat and enjoy the moment. I'm also approaching this with real expectations. The Packers may not be good either. But I'm just trying to enjoy this week as much as possible before. But we play the Falcons next week. I think it's a very winnable game. They're not anything to sneeze at. They had a very Algier and Robinson ran for 75 yards apiece, I think.
Right.
So it was very good running game. I know Quay Walker's a little hurt, so if he's not in the game, that could I know he's more of a coverage guy, but that could be a real possibility.
I think there was and we'll talk about our starts of the week, but I think there were some people that were sort of like we didn't realize we're going to be, getting that many touches or targets that it just turned out to be that way. And I'm not just talking about Puka. Like we're talking about like
I will say for the Bears,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to say Roschon Johnson looked really good. I want to give you guys credit for that. I think he's something to be excited about.
And I don't even know if he's going to be playing that much. I think it was just garbage time. I don't know.
Yeah,
the Bears are kind of weird about like we're going to stick to our people. Khalil Herbert's the starter and like that type of stuff. So they're kind of like the Cowboys in that way. Just their old school type. You earn the position, so you're going to be the starter. I don't think they're going to give the ball to the hot hand in Roschon. Or even like do like split playing time with Roschon and Khalil. I think it's legitimately going to be like a Khalil, Herbert, Dante Foreman, and then Justin Fields, and then a little bit of Roschon Johnson. I don't think it's going to be that much Roschon, but
you think Foreman will be there still? I think he's going to take over Foreman.
I hope he does. I mean, I'm saying I don't think so, but I think he was getting garbage time play and was able to show off.
I get that, yeah.
So, with that being said, we can jump into our weekly superlatives. Yep, if you're willing and able.
Yeah, you were just talking about Claypool. Let's go ahead and go with that one.
So, this week's award, the Kind of a Bitch award, goes to Chase Claypool.
So just tell me what you saw, and then I'll just show everyone the tape.
So, and you're gonna see this in the clip. This is all over Twitter or X or whatever you call it. It's all over the internet right now, and a lot of like just poopy blocking, a lot of like giving up on plays, like weak route running. Trying to approach this from an unbiased point of view, I was very concerned by Tremaine Edmonds' performance.
That's what I was telling him, telling Bryan. Like, I saw some of the highlights from the preseason. He was like, "Ugh, this is him against like second stringers."
Yeah, and also like you can put it in Eddie Jackson into that realm as well. He like just blew coverage on stuff and was just running like he was tired the whole game.
Yeah, what happened to him, dude? He had such a promising start to his career.
He was so good to start out. I think he was like, he made the Pro Bowl a couple times. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. He was a solid like player, and then I think he just got old. Honestly, played on a couple of bad year teams, and then he's done. I don't think he should be playing this next week.
Yeah, I mean, 2018 was 5 years ago now, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Back to Claypool though.
Yeah, so the Kind of a Bitch award goes to Chase Claypool, giving up on plays, poor route running, no good blocking at all. Like when he was designed to be the main blocker on a screen, just was manhandled, and it looked terrible. Let's show the clip, Johnny.
Yeah, it just looks like he didn't want to do anything at all.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone to leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. No, I ain't gonna comb my hair. 'Cause I ain't going anywhere. No, 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 no. I'll just strut in my birthday suit and let everything hang loose. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, today I don't feel like doing anything.
I like that the last clip when he just like falls back and it's just like cuts. Perfect.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
Yeah. Love the music behind it too. Good job. That was awesome.
Yeah, trying to avoid copyright, see if it speeds it up if we get dinged at all. My award goes to it's the Darmine Doggy Door Award. It goes to one Aaron Donald / the Seahawks offensive line because I think they actually need the Darmine Doggy Door after we heard this from Geno Smith.
Pressure comes late. I thought I was gonna get eaten.
Yeah, I wanted to extend that clip. I just didn't have time, but
I thought I was gonna get eaten.
Mic'd up like, oh my god, like it's kind of how anyone would have responded. I mean, it's been all over Twitter. I'm sure you saw it already.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Aaron Donald comes at you without a blocker, that's
oh my god.
Yeah, that's gonna. I would think I was gonna get eaten too, and I would need protection because I wouldn't.
Who is that?
That thing's real.
Was that
that lives with us on Earth?
Is that from that one? I think you should leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite sketch in the new season. I think they have a lot of good ones.
I'm trying to do something.
People were talking crap about the new season of I think you should leave, but I thought it was like. I think over time, even like a couple months later, it shows it has staying power, and it has as much meme power as the previous seasons. So
it's a weird humor that is so funny, yet it's so unique. Like it's hard to explain it to people. Like it's like imagine if somebody was just acting extremely weird in a normal situation. Like that's what it is. Like. And took things too literally. Imagine if somebody was taking things too literally all the time. That's what I kind of feel like the humor is. It's like that Tim and Eric type humor, but it's like its own little flavor of that. Yeah, a little flavor of it. Yeah. Let's see what Nick J.K. said. He was a writer on SNL for years. So I'm glad to see him like kind of branch out and like do things that wouldn't make the NBC network. Mm-hmm. What did Nick say down here? Watching Claypool in Pittsburgh. I thought are you going to read it? I'll read. Watching Claypool and popcorn reading. Yeah, popcorn. And hopefully everybody can read because I was like, we don't. Dude would make an amazing helmet or fingertip catch one game and then freaking disappear for 5 weeks. Yes. Yeah, I know some clips. There were some clips also on Twitter going around of like him making some like impressive blocks back in the day. It's just like I don't know. Does he not care anymore? Like, does he just not enjoy Chicago? Like he didn't choose to be there. He was just traded there. So I wonder. If he finally gets, I don't know. I think it's an attitude. It's got to be an attitude thing. I know there was that in Pittsburgh. Like he's been kind of a meme for a bit now, with like the whole celebration with like 10 seconds left on the clock. Yes, that was so bad. Yeah, so I know that there's no dead cap hit if he is released. So there's no reason to keep him if this is his best play. He's just wasting playing time from other young receivers because you actually drafted. We're going to put in the effort. But you have 2 rookies back there too. Yep. So give them some. Let's see what they can do because obviously Claypool doesn't fucking care. Yep. So we can move on, but yeah, I'm also sick of talking about how bad. Hey, it's just a therapy session. I'm here for you. We do need to just I want the best for you. I know Matt LaFleur is 9-0 in his career against the Bears, and you have been embarrassed game after game after game. And in this 1 week, you actually thought you had hope and this new expectation of a new era, but no, it's the same thing. It's like a waking up from a bad dream. You thought you were awake, but it's actually reality. And the reality is that you are still owned. You know what it feels like? In Green Bay. It feels like you're playing a video game and you're like, you can't. It's like a level you're stuck on. Yeah. Yeah. You're just stuck on the Packers. You just can't fucking beat them. And you have to, it's like you want to stay up until you beat the level, and it's just not going to happen. And you go to bed angry. Now imagine that every year for eternity. Just go to bed, Bears fans. The football world should have known what he was all about with the bitch response to losing never heard of her meme. Yeah. I don't think I ever saw that one, but yeah, that's not a great they literally haven't won a game with Claypool since he was on the team, I'm pretty sure. So that's 14, 15 straight losses. I think, since October. Tim in our chat said the date. That was 10. Yeah, that was 10 that pointed it out. Yeah. There hasn't been a Bears win since October something of 2022. So I think you guys might get. It's funny because you were making jokes about having the number 1 pick because the Panthers might be that bad. You guys might be that bad again too. So which cool. I mean, and if the Panthers and us are bad, hey, it worked out for the Jaguars. So they got back-to-back picks. It seemed like we're gonna get Marvin Harrison Jr. I think is what we're getting. So, dude, please no. Imagine Marvin Harrison Jr. There's 2 things the Bears cannot have. It is good receivers and a good quarterback. They can't have either of those things. The last one, like, who's the second-time all-time leading receiver besides? I mean, Marshall wasn't there for like a couple of years. But I feel like Marshall was up there.
they never have good receivers. Like Allen Robinson was the last good one. They have
Muhammad
good
Muhammad
now, but
Muhammad didn't play that well.
Muhammad.
It would be like somebody from like the 50s, 60s, 70s. Bears all-time receiving leaders. Johnny Morris.
Johnny Knox. He was actually really good. He was like
Johnny Morris. Are you familiar with Johnny Morris? He was drafted in 1958.
I was not.
Who else?
Dude, I wouldn't do
something.
So this is. I feel like we
Walter
have
Payton's
to talk about.
number
There's so
4
much
on
to
the
talk
list.
about the Bears, Brian, because we haven't even talked about Ryan Poles at all, and I think that he legit. Do you think he's guaranteed the rest of this, like another year? If they go 3-14 again, is it time to be like, okay, maybe someone else should already restart again, or do you think he'd just give him a couple more years?
I think they'd give up on Matt Eberflus before.
I agree.
Ryan Poles.
I agree. I think that's the move. Honestly, I think he's already like. Do you think he could get fired this year, like before the season starts?
I think so. I mean, honestly, it would be. I think they would clean house with. I don't know if they would clean house. They might keep Getsy, even though he's part of the problem. I think they'd.
It would be interesting if they could like poach away Ben Johnson next year from the Lions.
Ooh, I do like him. I like what's his name, Dan Quinn. I wanted Dan Quinn for our head coach, but
that's who I was afraid you guys were going to get.
Yeah. That didn't work out.
With Matt Eberflus, and I was like, who? This has to be a good thing. I don't even know who this dude is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on.
All right, let's do the fantasy starts of the week. Fantastic.
We could do so we can just go over Tom. If anybody was here last week, Tom gave us a teaser. Yeah. They did hit. This is Tom's all-time record. He's 6 of 8.
6 of 8. That's pretty good.
He's been avoiding me today. Yeah, I mean, if you put money on all of these, you'd be up a decent amount of money. And honestly, I don't know what he's talking about when he's talking about teasing. So people who
it's a thing. It's a specific thing. It's like he calls
very specific type of gambling that I'm not familiar with. Because
he explained it very well last week, I thought. So
I think it's because I can't practice it. I'm in Missouri. I can't do this type of gambling.
You just like alter the spread in 2 different games to your favor.
Right.
So they're more likely to hit. They have lower odds, but you can bind them together. So it's basically still 50-50 odds.
Right.
And so that's the idea behind it.
And last week we had Tom giving us his bets.
Yeah, he picked the Jaguars and Titans. The Jaguars for a minute looked like they weren't going to. So
yeah, that randomly hit. So good job, Tommy. And he's not on the phone, so we could skip the next slide. We'll call him again next week. But these are our starts of the week.
Put L's in the chat for Tom.
L's in the chat
for
Tom.
No. I hope he's all right, actually. I hope he's doing good.
Yeah, I hope he's all right. I hope we're not putting L's in the chat for no reason.
L's on him. Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, so the first week this season we did our sleepers. Typically what we do is we'll have our fantasy starts of the week. Then so the next week we'll grade how we did. Did they do really well or did they do poorly? Since we don't have that, we're just going to go right into our picks. And then next week we'll jump into how did they do, we'll keep a record of Johnny and mine's predictions. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to pick fringe players that could very likely be on the waiver wire, unless Johnny didn't. But
yeah, that's what I did. That's what I
did. You never know with Johnny. Sometimes he likes to throw in
hush.
an Aaron Jones here and there.
You literally put Aaron Jones on your fan. I'm not even going to say anything.
Okay, all right.
Explain Goff. Tell us how good Goff is.
Yeah, potential F. That was funny, Nick. So I have Jared Goff, and he came off of this win in KC. He's in the Dome this week. He has dome field advantage, as they say. It's his first game home. He's facing a sad-looking Seattle defense. I think they're going to be better because they're usually bad against the Rams. But this could be a big scoring game for Detroit where they struggled to find the red zone last week in their win over the Chiefs. And I think this is a good time to recover in their dome with not a ton of people screaming at them like how loud it is in Arrowhead Stadium. So I think this is a good start for Jared Goff. I could see him getting, in our league, last week, for example, he got like 17 points or something. I could see him getting like 22, 25 with a few touchdowns. So
Yeah,
that's my.
I like Goff. I don't know why he's available in so many leagues. I think he's legit.
He's still available in our league.
Right.
I mean, I have Trevor Lawrence. I might pick him up.
I think he's still a top 10 quarterback this year in fantasy. Yeah. So, yeah.
And you had Derek Carr.
Sorry, I was just reading comments. Yeah, Nick, he legit is on the wire. And like even after this week, he was still on the wire. I was about to pick him up, but I have Herbert, so I don't really need him. And also, I wanted to say, I think the Rams might legit be good again this year. Like their offense it just needs a healthy Matt Stafford, I think. So I don't know too poo-pooey on the Seahawks. I wouldn't disrespect them or count them out quite yet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Derek Carr shows he loves to throw it down the field still. Still same Derek Carr, really. He only had one touchdown, and he still put up like 17-some points. Over 300 yards against that they play the Panthers secondary. Or no, they play the Panthers this week. He was against the Titans, who I guess they don't have a good secondary either, but decent defense overall. They have a good interior defensive line.
I like Carr.
They play the Panthers. I like Carr this game. He's on our waiver wire as well. I thought about picking him up, but again, I just didn't really need a quarterback. Panthers are down J.C. Horn, so that's a very good sign for Carr, I would say. J.C. Horn, a very talented young cornerback, so I think that Panthers secondary will miss him, and it's a team that doesn't really know their identity yet, I think, and that's a lot of teams. So I think the Saints will take the dub in this one. It's a division opponent. They're going to play hard. It'll be a close game.
Yeah. And to clarify, Nick, when we're talking about Jared Goff not being picked up and even Derek Carr not being picked up, which I think he is picked up in our league.
Oh, did someone pick him up now? I could have sworn.
No, he's still a free agent. Never mind.
Told you. It's a 10-man league.
10-man league, one quarterback. So. And we heavily favor rushing quarterbacks because of our scoring. So Jared Goff is like a fringe, like QB 12, QB 15 around there. So he's a emergency start if you need to pick somebody up. It's not like he's, going to be a starter because you have like people like Anthony Richardson, who is definitely not a great quarterback, but he's going to rush the ball a lot, and he'll get just points for that, and rushing touchdowns and are worth more than a passing touchdown.
We haven't scored out still. We never picked a bone with our commissioner, but yeah, there's like an extra point for each rushing first down. So like
you get scored more if you rush a touchdown instead of a passing a touchdown. So it sort of leans more towards a rushing quarterback, but that's the reality of it. So that's why Jared Goff's on my list but very different for different leagues. But okay.
Anyways, yeah, moving on. I got Rashad White. I'll do mine first. Rashad White. That's such a cute picture of him. I just wanted to say that. It's like a senior photo from his college days, I think, which is it's just so wholesome, honestly. Not many football players are, running the ball like that and also kind of posing for wholesome posts. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate it. But no, they are playing a bad Bears defense. That D line got no rush on the Packers at all. I guess they stopped AJ Dillon, but Aaron Jones was murdering them on the ground and through the air. And I think Rashad White can do that to some degree. I'd like him to get in. He put up a really good game last week, I think, or not a great game, a decent game. But he didn't even get in the end zone, I believe. So look for him to have a better week. He's projected to have 12 some points. So might not be a super someone that's on the waiver wire, I guess, but Javonte Williams probably isn't on the waiver wire either. So.
Yeah, no. So this is more at this point. A lot of your running backs that are worth a start are on a roster. Now it's just deciding: do I start them or do I bench them? Do I put them in a flex? So these aren't people that are on the waivers necessarily. These are more people that are on your roster that you may be on the fringe of deciding: do I start them or do I start a wide receiver 3 in my flex? Right. So you're trying to figure this out. I put Javonte Williams, and yeah, he was my sleeper pick. If you remember that episode, I'm big on this guy. He had a pretty mediocre start, if I'm being honest, but really all the Broncos were pretty quiet last week. And there was a sense that the team was sort of easing him back into playing, so getting that full workload because he's coming off of a pretty intense injury. He tore all of his CLs, any CL you can think of, he tore it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy he's still playing.
Yeah,
he's already playing as much as it is. So.
But think of what he was given this week. I know he didn't do much, but think about what he was given. He was given 13 rushing attempts and 6 passing targets. So that's a good amount of work for somebody who's could potentially be a bell cow back that is getting sort of eased in to this role. So this week, the Commanders at home, I think getting out of a divisional game, against who were they playing last week? The
Raiders.
Raiders were playing. Oh yeah, they're playing the Raiders last week because we said that's why I was confused because you said you were talking about Derek Carr playing the Titans, and I was like,
oh yeah,
did they not? I just froze for a second. I was like, did the Raiders not play the Broncos? Okay, I got confused that Derek Carr's not on the Raiders anymore. But they're playing Washington. I think it'll be a good chance for Williams to show off. So I'm excited for Javonte Williams this week.
I don't hate the pick. I'm just holding on tightly to P. Ryan because I think he could come in.
Samaje.
Let's go to receivers. You got Nico. Tell us about your boy Nico.
Nico, and you pick Puka. We'll talk about Nico first. Nico, I'm moving Nico into my starting lineup into a flex position, into my wide receiver 3 position because we have 3 wide receivers in our league. Again, he's probably on that wide receiver 3 flex spot potentially, depending on who you have on your team and how many teams are in your league, obviously. But if you have 10, 12 player league, he could definitely be wide receiver 3 flex. He had 11 targets last week, and he was very much the clear-cut wide receiver that the number 1 wide receiver in that on that team. So
yeah, not a whole lot of hype on Nico Collins. A lot of poo-pooing on him this offseason. So I'm excited for him. I think that could be a very good option. Very still underrated.
Yeah, and I think Stroud is a pass first guy, and I think he is excited to throw it to this guy. Nico is very fast. He's one of the fastest players in the NFL, and if Stroud finds a deep ball for him, beyond having all those targets, he could have a monster game. I can honestly see Nico being a wide receiver 2, being the wide receiver 1 on that team. I could see him being an average wide receiver 2 in the NFL or for fantasy football purposes. So I can see it going really well for him.
Yeah, I agree. Could definitely be that wide receiver. I got Puka, obviously, probably the number 1 waiver target from everyone this week. He had a 15 targets from Stafford. Cup's going to be gone at least 3 more games. So I think you got to just if you spent money on him, I'm assuming you needed him. So maybe this isn't I just kind of want to talk about this guy.
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, just an insane opportunity there. I know Tutu Atwell is a big target as well. But like I said, I think this Rams offense could be back because they look pretty sharp without Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Just that running game, maybe not. But that passing game, Stafford, I think Stafford's all the way back. We call him Backford. That was a very good. Because I think he hurt his back too.
What's funny? If you say Puka backwards, it's a Cup. So I think he's a version of.
That's
of Cup.
I like that. He's another Cup. No, I think you got to go all out with him. Just don't even wait another week to see if he does it again. Just put him in there, baby.
Yeah, definitely do it. As long as Cup's out, put him in.
I meant to put a Pikachu thing on next one. And that was going to be the name of our episode, Pikachu.
Yeah.
We'll get to the names later.
Yep.
Yeah, very excited for this guy. Like a fifth round rookie. One of the most targets, I think, for a first round or a first.
First game. All right,
tight ends. Who doesn't love tight ends?
Let's hear about Hayden Hurst, Johnny.
Hayden Hurst, this Panthers offense is very weird still. Very scattered. There's no dude to go to. Miles Sanders might be the most talented person on that offense right now. besides Bryce Young, which is kind of telling. We'll see about Jonathan Mingo. Well, he's a rookie. I assume it'll take a while to get accustomed to things. Thanks for popping in, Luke. We appreciate you. So Hayden Hurst, I think he could be like the most reliable target in the receiving catching room. So I don't know. Just he already scored. He had a TD last week. He was one of only 6 tight ends to score a touchdown, which is like one of the lowest since like 2018 in a week or something like that. I saw him. You got to research better. But yeah, I think he has a lot of upside. If you need a tight end, he's probably the best available on the waiver wire for you. I think you should give him a shot. I think it doesn't hurt to try.
Doesn't hurt. Jake Ferguson, yet another one of my sleepers, Johnny.
Fergie, I like him.
And people are like, why'd you pick Jake Ferguson for your starter this week when he did not a lot last week? I think he scored like 2 points in our league. I'm only choosing him because of the target share again, right? So there's really no reason for the Cowboys to pass the ball near the end of the game.
Yeah, you didn't really learn much about the Cowboys' offense this week, actually, because they only had like a half a play. The entire second half was garbage time. So.
Right. They just kept giving it to their new boy. Who's their new running back? The big the Texas running back.
I thought they didn't give many carries to him.
Maybe they didn't. I don't remember. I might be mixing up Roshan Johnson if I'm being honest. But regardless, they just kept running the ball near the end and like doing like some weird passing plays to CeeDee Lamb and some backup people. And yeah, by the fourth quarter, there was some of these starters weren't even in. So I think Ferguson had like 6 targets in the first half alone. Mm-hmm. So didn't produce much, but we'll look to see him recover this week at home versus the Jets, who will be giving the ball over to the Cowboys a lot with Wilson at QB. So I think he'll be getting a lot of opportunities. Not saying that the Jets are a comparable defense to have good production out of, but if you can't pass the ball
in the league, but we'll see.
Yeah. But if you can't pass the ball to your wide receivers because of Sauce Gardner, you might need to be looking.
I think he's overrated.
Whoa. You might be
like 5. I could name like 5 better quarterbacks than him. That's okay.
And 4 of them are on the Green Bay Packers, I bet.
Yep, baby. Corey Valentine all the way.
All right. Time for your favorite segment and mine.
The big D and feet picks. So I picked the Buccaneers because they are playing one Justin Fields, who I think likes to turn the ball over. He showed that again this week. Sorry to mention that again. I just had to get one more quick dig. I picked them up in my league. I think Vita Vea is a problem still. I forgot he was on that team, and then I watched like some of that game, and I was like, goddamn. He's a big motherfucking human. Got all my cursing in right there. So I think that's a good pick. And then I picked McMoney Fearson playing in I had it on top of my tongue. They're playing in LA. They're playing in a good kicking field. Baltimore. Maybe that's not a good kicking field. I thought it was a dome. I mistaken myself. But I think McPherson's still legit. And look at that smile.
He's very handsome.
Exactly.
Handsome young man. Nick has opinions on Sauce Gardner.
I agree. I'm not even trying to copy Perna's opinion. I just don't think he's that. He didn't
one of those.
He got 3 interceptions. He didn't get 1. Just saying. You think Whitehead's
one of those? We have we could do this at some point, but there's that website where you can compare players based on the main stats of that position.
Oh yeah.
We can put Sauce Gardner up against a mid-tier, what you would think of a mid-tier. Throw him up against a Kyler Gordon, for example. See what happens. Who's just broke his hand, which is awesome. I picked I would usually say the Cowboys here, but they're probably already on retainer with whoever.
Yeah, it's like cheating now. Like Cowboys are.
Yeah,
I
somebody's
think
gonna
they
have.
went pretty high in the league. I was like, oh, you picked a defense that high, but I was like, okay, yeah, they're the
That
Cowboys.
ended up being a great pick. I mean, they scored 50 points in our league.
Did they really? 50?
Yes, you can go back and look at how much they scored with Brandon's team this week. Insane amount. And our defensive scoring is stupid. And I have a bone to pick with it. I think I hated it last year, but I also liked it because it won me games too. So
We should bring back the. I don't like we didn't bring back players. I think defensive players get shafted. I think I talked about this last week. They get legit shafted of their like name recognition and brand awareness because they're not in fantasy. Like
that's how I knew most linebackers in the league were. Based
I know. I like that. That's so good. Like I found, what was his name? Like Chase Holcomb, the guy that was playing for the Commanders but signed for the Steelers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Super good dude. And like I would never have thought to like, oh, look at this guy's tape or look at his what he did this week. So,
yeah. A lot of players like that.
I think that's good for defensive people. I think we should normalize.
We should normalize
defensive players. Yeah.
We need to feel bad for these millionaires.
Yeah, like receiver, like you have to think about like because social, like legit, we are in a world now where like your amount of followers is like it's valuable. Like it's a currency. So like it helps out receivers and running backs so much, dude. Like even like backup quarterbacks, like they make enough money, but like no one cares about them even, do. Like
wide receivers,
you have third or fourth string receivers that can have one game and then like everyone knows their name in the fantasy.
Yeah. So. Like Chase Claypool.
Exactly. Like
who's now is like made a career off of like 2 really amazing games.
Right.
If that. So I chose the Texans as my defense. I picked up.
Who they played? Oh, they played. Oh yeah, I forgot to add mine.
Playing the Colts. They're not the best defense, but I can see something like Will Anderson getting his first sack. You know, they're at home. I can see them doing something pretty good with this QB, Anthony Richardson, who had a decent game, made little mistakes in this game against the Jaguars, but couldn't produce anything. I can see Anthony Richardson getting a little sloppy out there, trying to make something happen and like messing up poorly like Justin Fields did near the end of that game.
Right.
I can see some stuff like that happening. And of course I have Young Hoku. Never going to not pick Young Hoku as my kicker. May not get a bunch of opportunities to score extra points, but he sure has a cool name and a cool haircut. So.
I think. Well, I like that pick too because the Packers defense is like a tale as old as time. It's like bend don't break, so they'll allow some big plays down the field, but it seems like they hold, especially in the red zone. They hold a lot of field goals, so I think that's a good pick. Oh yeah, Nick, I meant to. Whenever you get to it, dude, I'm not no hurry, dude. I just thought it was just an idea I had at the time. So it's,
okay, last segment here for those who are still with us. Thank you for sticking around.
Most longly awaited segment. Only 3 of these. I need to come up with more of these for you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, these are just ones that I come up with. I've stopped going on that Facebook group that gives me some of them that I like. Give me your favorite names this week.
I won't put the worst ones, like the worst fantasy names, like the most lame puns.
Yeah, it's like suck my Dak or something like that, like something stupid like that. But I choose you, Pikachu. I think that's a good one.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Welcome back, Zach. Sir Zach
Wilson.
Welcome back, Zach. I
don't think anyone has Zach Wilson on their fantasy team though.
Nobody would, but I just think it's a funny.
Nobody
rhymes.
Have like Desmond Ridder before you have
yeah, and then Ridley's, believe it or not, with Calvin Ridley doing some crazy things in his first game back in almost 2 years completely. So
yeah, I saw that one. I think over the offseason that was a good name, but I think dude, Ridley is scary. I every day I regret now drafting him when I could have drafted him in the 3rd round and then drafted my 3rd round guy in the 4th round probably. But it is what it is. That is life with fantasy football, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about that after Rodgers got traded. So that's crazy.
So longest tenured meaning he's been on the same team the longest.
Yes.
Is that what that means? Okay.
After
Not
that,
like
it's
the
like
longest I've been in the NFL. I was like, no, I know Rodgers is an old man.
after that, it's like someone's super scary. It's like 2020 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
No, Gino's only been, and he was with New York for a few years, and then he was only with the Seahawks since like 2018. He might be the second guy, actually.
what about Kirk Cousins? How long has Kirk been?
I think Kirk Cousins is actually the second, yeah, which he might not be after this year.
Yeah, we'll see though. But
if you were the Jets, let's end it with this discussion because this is a very interesting one. It might be like a day late or so, but if you were the Jets, who would you like consider like legit? Who would you want over Wilson? Because you can't trust Wilson with this team, man. Like you just can't. Like there's no way.
RG3. Did you see that clip of RG3?
I didn't watch it. I saw the headline.
So it was like the most like maybe I could do it. I don't know. I mean, other people, maybe me. Who? I mean, I'm not volunteering. Do you guys want me? Like it was like that type of talk. Trubisky. Yeah, I mean, people have.
That's legit.
People.
That's who I'm banging the table for. No, I legit think you could fit in with that offense. Like not. It's like a run. Just keep it like a run-heavy offense and use that play action to kind of use it on the field. Like it's nothing crazy. Like simple 1-2 read option, like read plays.
And you have to think there are some teams out there that have backup quarterbacks.
I think after because I think I saw something about Mitch, like he could have competed for a starting job this year, but he didn't. And I wonder if there's something about Mitch that after being in Chicago for those years with those like all the shitty negativity. I'm not saying like, all Bears fans, but just like all the shitty negativity he got from everyone, despite having a Pro Bowl season. I have to imagine at some point you're like, you know what, I'm good playing on a backup salary and just fucking doing my job every day, not have to have the media down my neck and like legit like let people forget about me. I'm making enough money. I don't need it.
So, and I don't see them getting like a veteran like that's retired that's coming back. I don't see them. The only thing I could see happening is maybe like them going and getting Joe Flacco as a backup to Zach Wilson, and then sort of having like a all hands on deck veterans like Rodgers, Flacco, just sort of.
I think Flacco could be legit. Like he
I think Flacco would be a backup. That was what I'm saying. Like I don't think he would start. I think they would let Wilson start and then just have.
He had that crazy comeback last year, and I think he can still sling it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think there's someone worth getting. Like I don't know, that defense was too legit, and I think you still have, like you have with Garrett Wilson, you have some other like you have that run game. I think if you just get
there's this guy like Sam Darnold, I think he'd be good on the Jets.
I think it was Mina Kimes that like asked who the funniest person that the Jets could sign. It was definitely
Sam Darnold would be that person.
He would legit work though. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. Well,
Blake Bortles, I saw a bunch of him. Everyone's trying to get Ben Kurt because of the Hackett connection, but like he's already like sponsored by this gambling app. That's not going to happen. NFL's not about that.
Yeah.
Maybe
next up, PJ Walker.
Still Tim Boyle.
PJ Walker.
Dude, honestly, I think a Taylor Heineke could do.
Taylor Heineke, yes. Gardner Minshew.
I think the Colts need him. They wouldn't get rid of him. Because you saw one game, Richardson thought for a second he blew his leg out after one game.
Yeah, it would have to be.
That was actually pretty scary. That was actually going to be really sad. It happens to everyone. Like, it happens to one person every year, like early on. Like, someone big. Always.
Yeah, and he's a big guy.
Rodgers is, yes.
Yeah.
But Richardson, he should be all right. He should be
all right. I thought you were talking about the literal size of Anthony Richardson. He's a big guy.
Right.
Literally a big guy. Rodgers is a big name. Richardson is a giant.
Big name is what I meant.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think that's all we had today.
Yeah, we're before 7. That's the goal. We start a little bit later than 6. You want to make like a 6:05, like a loose. Give you like a few minutes to get home from work for those in like mountain time.
And then we have like a football game tonight that you get a little bit of time.
Yeah. Trying to get out here by 7 so you can get ready for the football game. Turn on our buddy Tom, who's streaming every primetime game.
Mr. Grossi.
The legend himself, Mr. Tom Grossi.
And
yeah,
we'll look forward to the future. We have some surprise guests. We're not going to name anything yet. And we're talking about other stuff. So big things on the horizon. We're excited to grow this. Feel free to share. If you haven't subscribed, I think most of you subscribe to Johnny's channel. Subscribe to Johnny's channel.
hit that like button and subscribe.
Smash that like button, subscribe button.
You got a prediction for tonight? Vikings or Eagles?
I'm going to say...
Give us a score. Give us a score.
I'm going to say 27-16 Eagles. 27-16 Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to come out heavy, and they're going to get like 21 points in the first half. A couple of field goals in the second half, no touchdowns. They're going to slow down the game.
I kind of agree to some point. I think they'll take the game early, and then the Vikings will keep it close towards the second half, but it's going to be too much. I think it's going to be I'll go 24-19 or something like that.
24-19 score. Yeah. Okay. We need to write these down so if we can clip this if one of us called it.
Well, just remember your score.
I don't know, 27 something. I don't remember. Anyways,
we'll come back to this.
Generic ball man says Eagles 38.
That was the Bears and Packers score, wasn't it?
Not cool.
Thank you, Generic ball man. I appreciate that. You had to get one more dig in. I imagine you should bury that game in a fields somewhere.
All right, let's shut this off.
You know how Rex Ryan took they got killed 54-0 or something on Monday Night Football, and he buried the ball in the Jets practice field. That's what you guys should do. Just go
Rex Ryan.
The last 9 games. Go and find all 9 horror cruxes, and you have to find them all. The balls used in the 9 Packer games, and then bury them, and then you can get past and maybe beat Matt before.
Well, that was our show.
All right, that's the show, guys. We appreciate you all coming out, and we hope we appealed to your fantasy here on SecondString SportsTalk.